Meredith White going to be my guest. Oh, well.
Hello. Hello, Maria. We are here now.
Okay.
We are here now.
Because I didn't hear the music, which I normally hear. I was so waiting for the music. Sorry?
Maybe you can introduce our guest.
Yes, I will introduce my guest. Okay. Welcome to the Putkiston show. And my guest is today Meredith White. And we talk about how to jazz up the body work, but jazz up the life. Why music is so important for us, for well-being. Very, very good questions. So let's see you soon.
Summers come and summers go. This one's very special though. Let go of what you think you know, and you can put a kiss upon a toe.
Hello.
Lovely to be here. Hello, Maria. Hello, Lisa. And
hello.
Happy Vappu.
Yes, we have 1st of May here tomorrow. Maria, we can't hear you now. We can't hear you now. Now you are mute and now go unmute. Maybe now. No. No.
Now?
Yes.
Now we hear. Yes.
You can hear me now. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Let me try once more. And hear me now?
Yes. Now we hear you. But not now. Not now.
Take this one away. Meredith, we talk about often with this show about change. You have gone through, of course, many changes in your life, but I would say 3 major changes. First of all, you came from New Zealand to London. And you trained yourself to the Royal Academy of Music to become a pianist. Second huge change you had, that you decided to move from classical pianist to become a jazz pianist and singer. So already now we all understand, wow. New Zealand is, of course, very close to us Finns because we are opposite side of the world. Yeah, and you know, we both share amazing nature. But you lived here now, how many years in London? You lived a number of years.
It'll be 40 years this September.
40 years, yes. So you're definitely Londoner already, whereas I'm behind you 32 years. But tell what is so fascinating about this? What happened to you? You know, why Royal Academy of Music, which is the top school in the world, and to be a classical pianist is everyone knows it's already a huge achievement. And you decided to turn 180 degrees to the jazz. What happened?
Yes, it's a kind of a mysterious process. I mean, once I had made the decision, it was no longer mysterious because then I knew what I needed to do and it took a long time. But I was just looking for a new direction. I hadn't been interested in jazz. That was the funny thing. It's not something I'd listened to very much or something that I wanted to do. It just kind of came that it might be a way to stimulate creativity. That was really the key, that I wanted to use my music in a more creative way.
And then it took you over completely then now after that, because you have had now many years of career. You're both a performer. You worked in as a teacher in a King's College or
Kingston University.
Kingston University, yes, and many years there, and you know it's really taken over your life. Do you ever look back?
Well, I actually play, at the moment, I play classical music almost every day, a little bit as well. So the interesting thing was in the early days, I thought I'd left classical music behind. And I thought I crossed over, which is sometimes the expression people use. But then I realized, looking back, I hadn't really crossed over. I just expanded and opened my musical horizons. So I wasn't closing anything down and saying, no, I'm not doing that anymore. It was more that there's room for everything.
So you are like a good painter, you know, when they say that only when you are classically trained, you know how to do modern art properly. That's what they often say, isn't it? Because he has the basic. Yeah.
There are many really good jazz musicians who haven't had the benefit of classical training because they came from a background where it wasn't provided. So I would say you can be a very good jazz musician without the classical background.
Yeah, so anyway, there is many roads to the same Mecca. And then from some odd reason you carried on, and now you expanded your career and you found the body work. And we talked about it, that is really, if you think about your body, you're using it as your main instrument. Through your body, you play. Through your body, you sing. But you understood this in a very different way. What attracted you to find Method Putkiston out of everything there is in London? Because you didn't know anything and you just suddenly felt this method is for you. What was it that talked to you?
This is a really hard question to answer, and there's probably many different answers. But one response is that I could see very straight away with you, Maria, that your approach is, I can only use the expression three-dimensional, and you're very open to using, it's not just about the body, it's about the music, it's about the environment. You're very connected to our surroundings, and so you very much present the body as something that occurs in space and in time, and there's something very three-dimensional. So you can kind of pan out and see the big picture, and then you can also pan in and see with the microscope, the very small. And I think just having that is very much like music in a way.
Well, this is what you mentioned, because of course music is such an important part of the method, and now I haven't used it because we've been online and in a lockdown. And you said you miss it. So how would you say why you enjoyed very different music, what I chose to our classes so many years? I mean, you were here 8 years. It's a long time to be in our classes. You know?
No, about 12 years actually.
Is it?
We lose track of time. It's probably more than that by now.
Yeah.
Do you know, that's also really interesting because you play very diverse music. And I honestly, all the music I've heard over the years that you and Francis have chosen, I can honestly say there's maybe just one or two that I haven't been very keen on. And everything else I've just thought, oh, this is really interesting. And this inspires me to move in this way. And this has got this particular pulse. And there's so much variety in what you choose. I think that's a really important part of what you do.
So it's as we spoke, Meredith, this is a hugely personal thing for me because, of course, Method began from Sibelius Academy and Opera House, but particularly Sibelius Academy played an important part because those years I was also using music to explore, using movement to clarify something about music. And it's like the circle comes together. Now you are able to interpret it somewhere on your own. Because certainly we no longer try to analyze the music with the movement, but you realized what a variety of movement it triggers in us. And then I was thinking, because of your changes as such, but we also talk about this rhythm, because I think why I moved to London was rhythm, a change of rhythm.
Right.
And it's interesting how you influenced me. And I thought I'm super groovy. because we're trying to do the crisscross just to trigger the right and left brain with a very simple movement. Can I show you a sample? Lisa knows this, and you know that. When we have this pa, 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 and then I thought that pa, 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 and I'm adding things on it, but you can't cross all the time until you came along. And you introduced me a new rhythm. Off you go, Meredith. You added some groove into the pot. So now, Lisa, you haven't seen this, but this will be the new warm-up. Once I master this, off you go.
It's kind of like a drum beat.
Go on, Lisa. I like the power. Yeah. So immediately we feel, hey, this is energizing. And you said about, and it's all about what I feel the most energizing thing is about rhythm. If we get out of the rhythm, if we don't get those polyrhythms, we get tired. I feel if you do one thing properly, you get tired. But if you do boom, choom, boom, 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 and you do many, many different things at the same time, and if you get them in a nice polyrhythmical order, you feel energized. What do you think, Lisa, mother with 5, who is doing more and more all the time? I think you have a good sense of rhythm. But could we have something, because I don't know, if you think that we're losing so much agility per year, more than strength, far more agility than strength, what would happen if everybody would get this groovy morning piece? What would happen to us?
Well, we'd have a spring in our step for a start.
Yeah.
And that would be so crucial because, as you're often saying, Maria, as soon as our ankles start to stiffen up, we start to shuffle along. And it's so important to keep that agility and that kind of space in the joints and that space in the body and the space around us.
Yeah.
And music does that. Yeah.
Yeah, and you said that but then your third big change, you decided to become an instructor, and not even only an instructor, now you are in an institute becoming a teacher to take this method to the international market. And your mission is really going back where I started, to take it to the musicians, first of all, because that's your big love. And what's your message to them?
Well, my main message is to musicians and singers is to start from your body. Don't start from here. So it all starts in the body, and we're talking about pulse and groove, and I think that's something we feel in our bodies, and that applies to Mozart or Bach as much as it does to hip hop or jazz. So I think when we start, we focus on our bodies and we make connections in our bodies in a 3-dimensional way. We can use that to use our bodies more efficiently and more creatively in our music.
But you said about something about this groove, this particular rhythm, that you can't really analyze it too much. You have to feel it.
True, yeah.
And that was something that really, talk a little bit more about it, because that actually makes us so energized and so happy, and so, at least me, I don't know. At least me. So what is it that you have to, the rhythm begins from within?
Yes, it's very, very hard to pin it down. It's very hard to, as you said, to analyze rhythm, and it's very hard to learn it. Well, it's very hard to learn groove, and I think that for me was the hardest thing to learn about jazz. You can learn a lot of theory, but groove is something that's almost intangible. It's very hard to grasp.
Wow.
It underpins so much of what we do. And as you say, it is really energizing. It really is energizing.
Show us a sample. You showed us the summertime, or what was it? You showed it from a different ways. So you thought about the layers in the music, or the way you can stretch it, you can play with it, you can live with it. So how did you demonstrate it to us?
Yeah, well, I suppose coming back to this idea of three-dimensionality again, we've got, our bodies are three-dimensional, and the sounds are three-dimensional, and the drum beats are three-dimensional with the bass drum, boom, snare, and all the other bits. And I think what you do, Murray, is very three-dimensional, as I keep saying, and that's really fascinating to me. And you talk about what's all around us, and it's not just here, and it's not just what's in front of us. It's here and over there, and we're existing in this sort of spatial. It's just wonderful. How does that apply to music?
Sometimes demonstrate us sometimes how you
So one of the things about jazz is I'm not quite sure how this relates to three-dimensionality actually, but it's that in the original Summertime, it comes from a folk opera, Porgy and Bess. It's a lullaby, and it goes summertime, and it's very, it's kind of, this is how you learn it, and this is how it's meant to be sung. Whereas when we take a song like that into jazz, and so many songs, you've got a multitude of different ways you can interpret it. You can do it fast, you can do it slow, you can do it in a swing feel, so 1, a 2, a 1, 2, summertime. And the living is easy. You can do it in a very relaxed way. You can do it faster. You can do it in a funky summertime. And the living is easy. Just so many different ways.
I love it.
And that brings us back to the movement.
Lisa, we have a lot to learn. Anyway, that is so wonderful sample of, but in a way I see that music is movement. You see, because I couldn't move very well when I had all my problems, so I always structured the music took me further. And I could see the structure in the music. But as you said, it's that untangible. And do we always have to understand everything? But isn't it wonderful? We have the groove. Can I tell? Well, anyway, what you are now doing, you would like the musicians to feel creative and come back to their creativity, particularly now when it's been so tough time, isn't it? Feel relaxed with their instrument, feel confident, and you would like to take this mission forward with the method, of course with your work, but give a little boom, because I think we're all frozen one way or another. It's been a tough time for culture and artists.
It's so very tough. And it's been very tough for musicians and for artists in general, and everybody really. But anyway, we have to make the best of it.
So it's a lovely way to heal. It's a lovely way to be happy. And then I have a wonderful a secret for our listeners. Whoever been following the show, there's been a wonderful piece of music in the beginning. And I dare to say, Meredith, it made the show. It gave it an identity. And now our viewers and followers have opportunity to see who is behind it. Who guess it's Meredith. And thank you, Meredith, so much. But let's listen your interpretation of Put Kiss Toe. If you don't know yet, put a kiss on a toe refers to stretching, and that's why it's a very useful name to be representing a stretching method. Meredith.
It also helps to announce it.
Indeed, yeah.
Thank you, Mari, and thank you for keeping your classes going all the way through this past year and creating such a wonderful sense of community. And thank you, Lisa, and happy Vappu to everyone in Finland.
Happy Vappu to everybody.
seasons come, seasons go. This one's very special though. Let go of what you think you know, and you can put a kiss upon it too.
Summers come and summers go. This one's very special though. Let go of what you think you know, and you can put